Hello YouTube, it is your boy B3 back with another kicking vlog video. I've already done videos on how I would write the Godzilla franchise, how I would write the Ultraman franchise, which isn't me jerking myself off saying, oh, I'm such a good writer, I would do such a good job on these. It's really just me saying how I would prefer these franchises to be. So, of course, the next logical step in this process is, how would I write Gamera, who desperately needs a reboot now more than ever? Absolutely, Gamera needs a reboot. Where is it? So, how would I write Gamera? Well, my Gamera wouldn't be very far off from the Heisei Gamera. That's right. Like this one right here from Gamera 3. In fact, my Gamera would probably fit tone-wise maybe with the first two Gamera films more than Gamera 3 from that trilogy. But still, you know, I think it could be pretty rad. So, it would be more serious, but it wouldn't be so serious that children couldn't watch it. You know what I mean? Like, it would be something families could enjoy, but it would also be something that, like, an adult could enjoy by themselves, and they could have a nice, serious movie viewing experience. Right? I would have mostly new monsters. Legacy monsters would not be something I'd focus on. Maybe just one legacy monster in the first film, and then new monsters after that. Which, now that I think about it, is exactly what the Gamera trilogy did. But I'm thinking more of a Gamera series that's as long as the Showa one, but better, because the Showa Gamera wasn't really that good at all, for the most part. If I had to pick one legacy monster, I would pick Zigra. I actually really like Zigra. I would completely redefine Zigra. It would not be an alien, it would not be intelligent, and it would not talk. It would really just be a sea monster. I would do Zigra just as a sea monster, and that's pretty much it. I mean, Gauss's redefined origin was very popular. I think a totally redefined origin for Zigra could be popular as well. My Gamera would be kind of anti-heroic, maybe, kind of like a force for good. Like, my Gamera would be kind of an old, grizzled Gamera. Like, he'd been defending the Earth since ancient times, right? Ancient people wrote about, like, a great protector who saved them, and etc. And Gamera would kind of start out that way, maybe, in the film. But as the series went on, he would get angrier, a bit more fed up with humanity. Until one movie where Gamera just decided to stop saving humanity. Right when the biggest monster ever is attacking. And people have to go convince Gamera to save them again. Because humans became too dependent on him, and they were wrecking the planet, and Gamera's like, if you're just gonna wreck the planet, why would I keep saving you? He would kind of go from being Mothra to being not quite Batra, because Batra actively wanted to destroy humans, but more just like refusing to protect humans. You get what I'm saying? But that would be like a build-up throughout films. It wouldn't start out that way, you know? But I do think that's a pretty good idea, because that also gives it kind of an environmental message and stuff. You see, makes it topical. Kaiju movies, all the best kaiju movies are topical. All the best kaiju movies are topical. That's just a fact. I feel like most of the best movies are. Not when it's like a shoehorned in message for 2 seconds, or if it's really forced, but if it flows real naturally, like in the 1954 Godzilla, or in Shin Godzilla. I mean, I could just name a bunch of Godzilla movies, honestly, but you get the picture. And power-wise, what would Gamera be like? Well, I really liked his Heisei power set. It made him very strong, made him seem like he could really stand up to any monster. However, he would not have the chest-mounted cannon. I would ditch that. He, of course, would have like a heat blast out of his mouth like Gamera always has had. He would be able to fly like Gamera has always been able to fly. Those are two very key components to Gamera. In fact, his flight is one of the most unique things about him. There's no way you can get rid of Gamera's ability to fly. I would be interested in a form change, like a temporary form change Gamera could do, where perhaps he would glow orange or red or something, and could concentrate that power into heavier attacks. That's something I would be interested in. Maybe not a permanent form change. I mean, I wouldn't mind the design for Gamera changing from movie to movie, like it did in the Heisei series. But kind of a regularly unified Gamera design with perhaps one temporary form change that he could use on occasion, but not, you know, it wouldn't be his go-to. It would be like his, oh, I'm desperate, I need to use my form in the final battle to help me win. But maybe the form has like a consequence, which is what I was thinking. Because you remember when he used the big cannon in Gamera 2, the humans were like, oh, I mean that defeated Legion, but at the same time it drained a lot of the Earth's mana. So maybe this form could like burn Gamera's power so fast that it could kill him if he uses it too long. Or perhaps every time he uses it, he shortens his lifespan a little bit, because he's already an ancient creature who's very, very old, and shortening his lifespan is like the riskiest thing he could do, because who knows how much longer Gamera could have left. That would be crazy. Now, Gamera has had some kind of like mystic villains, and I would probably try to keep the mysticism out of Gamera for my franchise, because we had a little mysticism and stuff in Showa. We had a lot of mysticism in Heisei. So maybe it's time for like a more grounded scientific Gamera. Sure, we've had a more grounded Gamera, but like a really scientific Gamera I think would be very cool. Like, they try to, like, the stuff he would do would seem kind of mystical, but people would try to explain it with science. I don't have a problem with mystical kaiju. As I said, I love the Heisei Gamera trilogy, and in many videos I have mentioned that taking the mystical aspect away from Mothra would be a disservice to her character, because that's, like, the most unique thing about her, and I would really like it if she would stay mystical. I don't believe she's mystical in the MonsterVerse, but that movie's not out yet. So yeah, you know, little to no mystic stuff. Aliens I would be fine with. I would be fine with aliens coming back. Wouldn't want Zigra to be an alien, because I would want Zigra to be the first movie villain with a whole new origin, because Zigra was a little ridiculous. I would be totally fine with Gamera fighting off an alien invasion and a brand new original alien monster. However, I would also want it to be more serious. I would want it to be a serious alien invasion, because the aliens in Showa Gamera are just ridiculous idiots. They're not smart. I would want nice, competent aliens who are invading with a monster. You know, classic alien monster stuff. Or maybe even a mecha. In fact, there is one character I would absolutely want to introduce. Mecha Gamera. It's about time we got a Mecha Gamera. We've had Mecha Godzilla. We've had Mechani Kong. We've had Mecha Gomera. We've had all kinds of mechs in the kaiju franchise, but Gamera's never really delved into mechs. So I think humanity should build a mecha that fights alongside Gamera. Like, Gamera has trouble with the monster, but they've been working on this mech because they know Gamera's not going to be really around forever, perhaps. the mech fights alongside Gamera. Gets heavily injured. Maybe by the time Gamera decides to retire and doesn't want to protect the human race anymore, they have repaired Mecha Gamera. It goes on to fight the monster in that film by itself. By the way, the film where I would have a film where Gamera decides at the end not to protect humanity anymore. Like, perhaps at the end of the film would be, let's say the next to last film is the Alien Invasion movie. Alright, let's say that is the case. They build this big weapon at the end of the film, like this big cannon that's obviously like something that could be turned on the human race after they defeat the aliens. So Gamera defeats the aliens, but then he kind of angrily destroys the cannon. He's like, I'm sick of this. So he destroys the cannon. Because he's like, look at this. What are you doing? You're just gonna turn it on people. And perhaps it doesn't happen right away. Like, he doesn't defeat the spaceship, turn around and destroy the cannon, right? He defeats the spaceship, goes back to his slumber, and then maybe like several months later, the cannon technology is being used to kind of like, quote-unquote, negotiate with another country, like threaten another hostile country, and then before the battle starts, before there's some big battle, Gamera shows up, destroys the big cannons, or whatever, and both sides are like, wow, if Gamera stopped us, this is a big deal. And then Gamera just kind of like disappears, no one can find him on radar, etc., etc., and then the movie kind of ends with Gamera just giving up on the human race. Then in the next movie, the new monster shows up, destroying stuff. Gamera doesn't come to save them, so they use the newly repaired Mecha Gamera to fight it, and Mecha Gamera just gets slaughtered. Absolutely demolished. Not even in a state where it can be repaired. Like, it's turned into less than scrap. The motherfucker is reduced to ash. Mecha Gamera is wrecked. And so, people have to go convince Gamera to fight for them again. They do find Gamera. They have to convince him to fight for them. And perhaps a child that's stowed away on the voyage to find Gamera is the one that really convinces Gamera, because as we know, Gamera has a soft spot for kids. Right? And I'm fine with keeping that in there. Soft spot for children. That's totally cool. You know, Gamera is a monster that's come to grow to like humanity over thousands and thousands of years. I'd be happy to see that. And so Gamera, of course, does go to fight for them. Fights this monster. And then here's the last thing I wanted to say I would do for my Gamera series. Gamera goes to fight this monster and defeats him, but cannot do it without sacrificing himself. Gamera dies in a blaze of glory, sacrificing himself to save the human race. And then humanity's like, we don't have Gamera to protect us anymore. Most of the monsters that have shown up were our fault. We did this to our own planet, and without Gamera here to fix all our mistakes for us, we need to create a society that doesn't make these mistakes. So, the world in general, after Gamera's death, would be inspired and create a newer, better world in honor of the fallen hero Gamera. So, when all is said and done, my Gamera would be a hero that definitely wanted to protect the human race. Sure, he faltered at times, but it wasn't his fault, it was our fault. We're the ones that really faltered. He just didn't want to put up with our bullshit anymore. So that's how I would write a new Gamera movie series. That's how I would write the Gamera franchise. I would go for a serious tone that could still be enjoyed by families. All new monsters except for one legacy monster, preferably Zigra with a new origin in the first film, because the first film I feel like would do better with a legacy monster. No Gauss, period. Gauss was in multiple Showa films, and multiple Heisei films. We don't need Gauss anymore. Gauss isn't even that great. Like, Gauss is cool, but what's so special about Gauss compared to other Gamera villains? Really nothing. So, you know, I think just bringing Zigra back, who I believe is one of the more visually interesting Gamera monsters, would be best. So that's it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm actually making my own Toku series right now. If you want to donate to that, I'm going to put Indiegogo in the link below, or whatever platform I decide to use to fund it. I'm filming this while I'm still planning the Toku show I want to make. I do want to have suit actors and multiple monster suits and all this stuff. I plan on doing a lot for this, and I've already stopped buying pretty much all comics and most action figures so that I can afford to make this. So I'm putting my other hobbies on hold so I can afford to make this show, but I still need help. So that's it. Thank you all once again for your support, and I will see you all later.